All right, welcome everyone. Today is November 13th, 7 p.m. This is our full council meeting. If you will stand as you're able to get the meeting started with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Pridnoff, your roll call, please.
Ms. Cheney.
Here.
Mr. Fisher.
Here.
Mr. Knipp. Ms. Absent. Mr. Marks.
Here.
I'm sorry. That's correct. Ms. Snyder.
Here.
Mr. Van Harn is absent.
All right, I've heard from both Mr. Van Harn and from Mr. Knipp. Is there a motion to excuse their absence this evening?
What's their absence?
What's that?
What's the absence?
Mr. Van Harn is traveling out of town,
Okay.
and Mr. Knipp, as I will announce in a little bit, has submitted his resignation.
Oh. Okay.
Motion to excuse Mr. Van Horn.
Is there a second? All right, pending no second. Thank you for the roll call and our agenda. Has everyone had an opportunity to take a look at the?
Excuse me, do you want to move to have them excused separately? In other words, two motions?
Yes.
Just in case?
Yes.
All right. Is there a motion to excuse either of their absences?
You
Make motion to do both.
do both. Now they're going to do them one at a time. Motion to excuse Mr. Van Horn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.
No.
All those opposed?
Should do a roll call.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Cheney.
No.
Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Marks.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder.
All right. Thank you. Presuming everyone has had an opportunity to look at the agenda for this evening, is there anything that we need to add? I will be doing in my mayor's report, I will be asking for Mr. Knipp's replacement to be sworn in, but I'll do that during my.
Well, on the agenda, you have an executive committee meets this evening and you have finance committee meets in a special session, neither of which haven't. So those should be struck from the agenda.
Very good. Any other amendments to the agenda? Is there a motion to pass the agenda as amended?
Motion to pass the agenda is amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have no persons registered to address the council this evening. Is that correct? And we have minutes to approve from October 23rd. And looking through them, I noticed one, Mr. Pridnoff, that I didn't get a hold of you to convey. And that concerned in my mayor's report where I was stating solidarity with Israel during these attacks of terrorism. I also stated solidarity with all non-combatants, all civilians that bear the brunt of war in general.
So that should say war, not terrorism.
Not terrorism, war in general. Solidarity for Israel and their attacks on their attack. Any other amendments?
I was not here, so.
There's just a spelling of one of the appointees to Recreation Committee's last name, so I'm just gonna spell it
Please.
out right
Right.
here.
I noticed that as well. I thought it was an alternative spelling, given our debate on pronunciation.
Yeah, I was nowhere near that.
Oh.
That's a capital F.
Yes.
correct, that was for Mr. LaFolle.
I
Full
accidentally
it?
said it goes it the American way.
LaFolle.
Full it.
LaFolle.
Awful, that, huh?
Presuming no other amendments to the minutes, is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Motion to approve the amendments as amended.
Is
I
there
mean, the minutes as amended.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Does not look like we have Chief Denny Meter here for our fire report. Is there, that's usually on the second one. So I'll go into my mayor's report here. First off, I want to thank all the voters for our rather historic off-year voter turnout. I think most democracies agree that participation makes for better results. Fortunately, there are members of both political parties that benefit from less participation from the public, so there's often work to do to offset that. Also want to thank all the candidates. It's hard to put yourself out there. I heard it said that we're in the wrong position if we can't handle being told we're not good enough, because we're going to hear that a lot. And we're in the correct position if we can continue to work for the good of our community while rolling with the punches and still making a priority for the continuous improvement of our own character. I felt like regardless the outcome of the election, the process by fire could potentially make us all candidates better leaders. I hope it truly does, because I know we all, by virtue of being human at least, have room for improvement and work to do on that. We're currently scheduled to have our inauguration of the new council members on December 11th. And our first full council meeting on January of the new council
is
Just
we just looked at it.
January 8th.
January 8th.
January 8th. All right. So I received, as I mentioned earlier, a letter of resignation from Councilman Knipp. I will go ahead and read that. Council, it is with some sadness, humility, and hope for the future of our village that I must tender my formal resignation as Gulf Manor councilman, effective November 13th, 2:30 p.m. My future ability to diligently execute the duties of the office and focus on the village's business to the depth in which our residents deserve will be divided for the foreseeable future. Therefore, I find this to be in the best interest of the community to step away and allow for fresh and new leadership for the remainder of my term. I will be eager to see its continued growth for the seasons to come. It was my honor and blessing to serve.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
The first meeting of the new council is the first meeting in December, not January.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Full regular agenda. Apologize.
Everything's December. Everything, it's their first meeting, they're sworn in, it's December, and they are full-fledged members of council, and it's the new council.
My error.
I don't know about that.
My misspoken.
Misspoke.
My misspoke.
Misspoke.
My misspoken.
Happens to
Yes,
the best of us.
happens.
It does.
The, I have the letter designating Mr. Knipp's replacement, naming Zach Michelson as our council member for one meeting. I've been informed here, or at the beginning of the next.
No, 2
No,
meetings.
he's
2 meetings.
sworn in.
Tonight, next
Sworn in.
meeting.
Tonight, and
Next
the
week.
27th.
Okay, very good.
So Mr. Pridloff has the designation letter.
Yes, that's, and I spoke with Mr. Michelson last Friday as well, and he agreed to accept, so I'll be asking him to take the oath of office. Right now, would you step forward, please? You don't have to have that filled out, do you? I don't. Okay.
I could,
Just the last paragraph is what I always struggle on. I will, please. I don't have it. Okay. Very good. And repeat after me. I, Zachary Michelson,
I, Zachary Michelson,
do affirm
do affirm
that I will do the best of my ability to follow or affirm the Constitution and laws of the United States,
that I will do the best of my ability to affirm the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the United
the
States,
Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the
Charter and laws.
I know the charter and the ordinances of the Village of Gulf Manor,
the charter and ordinances of the Village of Gulf Manor,
and all the duties put upon me in the exercise of this office that I now accept.
and all the duties put upon me of the office that I do accept.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Very good. The cuffs. I have Recreation Commission appointments as well. So, and I have one of those, perhaps both of them, but this is one of them, I'm looking on the other. From Mr. Calvin Nelms and Beth Mentz for the remaining one-year terms. We have 2 one-year terms open for the Recreation Commission. So I would also like to appoint or ask Miss, I'll do this another time because I haven't had the opportunity to talk to her about it. But is there a motion to accept these 2 individuals as, and we'll do a roll call, as the final one-year term appointments for the Recreation Commission? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. What did you move?
For the appointment of the 2 new people to the committee, or the commission.
Good job, Ashley.
All right. Why don't we do a roll call on this?
Sorry, I have to, so this was a motion to appoint 2 more members to the one-year terms for Recreation Commission. What were the names?
Correct. This is Calvin, Calvin, Nelms, Nelms,
Okay,
and Beth Mentz, Bethmeents,
okay.
for the remaining one-year terms.
Okay. Okay, there was a roll call requested. Ms. Cheney?
Yes. I don't know what I'm doing.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Michelson? Well, Mr. Marks, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Michelson?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Great. So the dates available for the first meetings are Mondays on the 7th. According to the bylaws, it's every other month. I have a preference for Monday, December 4th at 7 p.m. We could also do January 1st or the 8th. The preference for December 4th is because it meets before the first full council meeting in which 2 members would need to step down when they're inaugurated. I have alternates that I can appoint at that time to move into those positions. But that'd be the preference for having the first Recreation Commission meeting on December 4th at 7 p.m. The agenda would be to elect the chair and set the meeting schedule at the very least, right? There will be a review of the structure and bylaws of the commission at the next community engagement meeting scheduled for the November 21st. I'd like to try to get all the commissioners to attend that, and we'll like to ask the chair, Ms. Brewer, to help me on making that happen.
And there is a different date for that committee meeting that
It has been
this evening
reset. Okay,
to the 29th.
all right, perfect. The social determinants of health report prepared by the Bloom Community Partners is available. It's specific to Gulf Manor and has findings and recommendations on page 7. I have a copy of that, which I can pass around. It was received last week on November 7th in an email to all council members and committee members, I believe. And if you need a copy of that report, I have a copy of it here. I can also send an electronic version to you. The We Thrive annual recognition event is scheduled for Thursday, December 7th 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the JCC. The dinner includes vegetarian and gluten-free options. They're asking for RSVP by November 12th, which is the end of this week. It's a great opportunity to see the kinds of activities other communities are involved in. The highest awards tend to go to inter-community collaborations. So it's like the We Thrive of Gulf Manor working with the We Thrive of another community. Those tend to be the highest awards as far as I have witnessed at these events. So it's a great opportunity to get ideas for that kind of thing, to see those collaborations on display. So I'd encourage everyone to get together and attend that. Also want to recognize Veterans Day and read about resources available to our active duty service members and veterans in our community. Here. So yeah, we celebrate and thank the veterans that have served our country on Veterans Day with an overview of some of the supportive social services available to them. While there are a number of services and benefits available to everyone who has served in the armed forces, some of these services and benefits have stricter eligibility requirements. Regardless of which service or benefit one is applying for, most require at least some kind of documentation proving that the applicant is a veteran. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs provides an online portal to request one's military service records. This is helpful to use to gather the documents needed to prove eligibility for whichever service or benefit one is applying. The Veterans Benefits Administration has information on the breadth of benefits available to veterans and how to apply. They also have a devoted portal with all the forms needed to apply for veteran benefits, including healthcare benefits. There's a national nonprofit organization called Lawyers Serving Warriors that provides an online application to obtain free legal assistance for veterans for veteran issues, including disability determination and appeal. This can be very helpful when applying for veterans' disability benefits. There are additionally a number of discount programs for commercial services, including restaurants, hotels, stores, and other businesses. Military.com is a great resource for finding all these commercial discount programs. A veteran ID card is a digital form of photo ID that can be used to get discounts offered to veterans at these many locations. You can apply for a veteran ID card using the Veteran Administration website. There's at least three local examples of veteran discount programs. One provided by Hamilton County Parks and Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens, as well as the Metro Bus Services. Hamilton County residents who have a 100% service-related disability or are a former POW or a Medal of Honor recipient are eligible for a free annual parking permit at Hamilton County Parks. Cincinnati Zoo military discount is for $5 off adults in child admission. These tickets for the zoo and botanical gardens must be purchased in person and cannot be combined with any other discounts. And the Metro Veterans Program offers a discount whereby military veterans, active duty, and reserve personnel receive bus fare at half price. Metro also provides free transportation for veterans on Veterans Day. I want to also acknowledge that the process for getting a memorial brick placed in our Veterans Memorial Park is not as transparent or user-friendly as I'd like it to be. I want to thank Ms. Diane Gaither Thompson for bringing this to my attention. I'll be speaking with community engagement about getting some recommendations on how best to have this information on the website and perhaps even in the park itself. Let's see. Finally, I want to thank Jay Weevil for producing this map for Halloween. It's become a tradition, his service to our community, and I really appreciate it. I know all the residents really appreciate it. We had a huge turnout for Halloween. Many people I know at our front door, and we're not like even on a street that highly participates. It's probably thanks to this map here. So I want to thank him specifically for that. And then if there's no questions, ask the administration for the report.
Okay. We're in that time of year. Leaf collection is continuing. Just a reminder that residents can recycle leaves in brown bags at the curb on Mondays. Those are picked up for recycling by Rumpke. The service crews are focusing on about 6 streets per week according to the public schedule. Final pickup will take place around December 18th. This upcoming week, next week, which is Thanksgiving week, is that next week? Thanksgiving. That is a pickup week for them. So there are no specific streets scheduled for Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. They will just continue to pick up leaves wherever they can find them. There was a glitch last week where the new depository facility that we're using was unable to accept leaves on a couple of days, which slowed down the pickup schedule. The other thing that they ran into was, particularly on St. Albans, people are parking over and in front of the leaves to be picked up. And people need to be aware that if they want leaves picked up, they need to not park over the top of them, because our service crew will not operate around vehicles where possible damage can be made. There are 2 alternatives: refraining from parking over and in front of leaf piles, or blowing the leaves across the street on the side of the street where there is no parking taking place. So if there are specific issues, I would encourage people to touch base directly with the service department, and we will make sure to pick up every leaf by the time leaves need to be picked up, weather permitting. Just to make you aware, for the Hamel Avenue Street project for next spring and summer, bids have been opened for that particular project and will be accepted until November 30th at 10 a.m. So we'll have an idea of what the cost of that will be. We have secured funding for that project from the state, and it'd be great to get a piece of road that needs some considerable attention taken care of. On Elbrook, striping and the final walkthrough is scheduled. It was looking like the thermal striping for the new 3-way stop and the speed humps was not going to take place until the spring, but with this nice bout of good weather we've had, and if the precipitation holds off, they should be able to get that accomplished before we go into the winter season. So that should be happening quickly. Engineering for design of the Weehee and Elbrook Sandoval project continues. I'm hoping that we will have something for council to see at the next council meeting in terms of some of the suggestions. If not, it probably won't be until the first of the year to review some of the things that we're looking at wanting to do there. On the lighting study, if you recall, there was a memo that came from Officers Mullen and Ammerman regarding dark areas in the village at night. So it's basically our night shift officers gave us a picture of where they thought we should take a look at levels of lighting. What we determined is, after looking at what Duke Energy can do for us and what the cost of a photoelectric study would be, the JMA and TEC vendor that we use for our engineering is going to work directly with Duke Energy on specific streets, particularly on Bremont, west of Hamel, and Mayflower's not on this list. Mayflower was the other one. What we did was took a look at where the number of lights were assigned, and we're going to go in and physically, in some evening, the engineer is going to come out with Duke Energy and see whether or not we can put additional lighting in some of those areas. The thing that I would remind council is that lighting is not free. There is a cost to adding those fixtures. So we will need to get an estimate on what the cost will be and see if we can fit that into the budget.
I have a question on that. A number of locations where the lighting's inadequate is due to overgrowth from trees, especially on Canterbury, and it's going to be hard to see now that the leaves are down. But I think also they still updated the light at the corner of Canterbury and Englewood. But that one is almost totally blocked. I think they've pretty much cleared the ones.
So those have all been trimmed at this point.
Are they going to be trimmed?
They have been trimmed. Canterbury's been trimmed already.
Where the street light is by the apartment building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did that, the village?
No, the contractor did that.
Contractor. Okay.
So if there's something
To
that,
extend the
that I'm not
contract.
aware of,
Okay, no, I was just wondering because I haven't looked at all of them with the leaves down.
so they're going by the plats of where the lights are indicated that we received in our bid from Duke Energy to replace for the LED lights. So what this does, taking this approach, is hopefully we can improve the lighting without having to go through the cost of yet another study. In tonight's packet, there is an amendment to the agreement that council entered for the grant for the Bean property, which actually expired at the end of last year. Those monies, not all of those monies have yet been expended to complete that project. The remainder of that particular project will mostly go towards demolition of the building. So the amendment this evening moves that contract to expire on March 31st, 2024. So Mr. Butler will have some comments on it because the actual agreement that we received has a different date, but I have a verbal agreement from the county today to move forward with that March 31st date. The good news is all of the demolition of those particular 3 buildings should not have to be funded in any manner from our general fund. It's all coming from the grants. I'd like to express my appreciation for everyone's quick removal of the campaign signs. So thank you. For those who still have signs out there, we would appreciate them getting them down. I know, I believe Ms. Brewer has offered to still recycle signs. So if anybody is aware, I believe there's even an offer to pick up signs for people that just need permission to go into the yards to get them. But we need to get the dead campaign signs out, and that's the issue signs and candidate signs and all. Time to get things cleaned up. And then finally, with a bit of sadness, I would like to announce that Paula Bergen, our financial operations manager, has indicated she is retiring.
Oh,
So sad for us, good
Wow.
for her.
yeah.
Paula's done a great job for us. She's been here a couple of years. That is going to leave a hole for us in terms of that accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, benefits, and some.
Total to the county, $25.50, for a final total of $2,955. That is the end of the mayor's court report.
Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Without objection, take that as unanimous. Thank you.
And then I also believe you all saw the citation report from the mayor's support program that just shows the citations written for the month of October. I will say that the officers had a very busy month with some very serious time-consuming calls. So I expected traffic enforcement to be down a little bit. Some of these instances they're still working on. So just thought I'd mention that before anybody asks. Also, on Friday was the Havercamp Foundation's celebration. I attended that. It was a great event. The event formally celebrated their 100th dog and reaching $1 million milestone, which is just incredible.
That's amazing.
But they actually, to date, reached 105 dogs. So in planning the ceremony, they were able to fund 5 additional dogs, but 105 doesn't sound as cool. But it was a great event, and they do good things. There'll be a 5K in the spring. They do Monte Carlo in the winter time over on the west side of town. So as I get those dates, I'll keep you guys informed. And then lastly, you mentioned Veterans Day. I want to recognize members of my team that served. Lieutenant Forrest, Officer Russ, Officer Reynolds, and Officer Hill all served in the military. All have been deployed overseas. So I just want to recognize them and thank them for that. And just recognize the continued service to the community here as well.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. If there's any questions.
Chief, so I know there are a number of folks in our community that will get, I know it's certainly it shows up on my Google feed when there is an altercation on Ardmore or anywhere in the village. And I forget which news channel it is, but it will just state that altercation on Ardmore. There'll be no other information, and it will stick there for like several days. And I'm wondering if you have any insights into how that occurs. I'm presuming they're just grabbing the feed off of some kind of a public feed and just reposting it. It seems kind of lazy on my part. For me, it seems it's kind of lazy.
Let me peel the curtain back.
All right.
So I believe the one you're speaking to was like, I'm sitting at home Thursday night, like 10 o'clock, and I get a text from somebody that just apologizes and says, I hope you guys are okay. I'm like, what's this about?
Yeah.
And then they referenced this news article, and the screen grab even at the bottom mentioned injuries to hostages. And it was an unrelated story, but it's right there under the headline.
Right.
So I'm like, what is going on? And I reached out to the officers. It had been a domestic dispute at 5 a.m. that previous day. Why it wound up where it wound up really surprised me because there was nothing unusual about it.
Yeah.
We make hundreds of calls like that per year where family members get into an altercation. So that really surprised me, but how and why that wound up there, I still don't know.
Right. I'm curious, it's not the first time that I've seen that same kind of framework occur, where it's like a single sentence reported by a news agency that doesn't have any details in it. And what has occurred to me is that there's some kind of a feed, either at the county level or something that's just like, I don't know, putting out a feed of.
I could speculate that they may have heard the dispatch.
Okay.
Because those details would be in the dispatch.
Right.
An example would be if we responded to an assault, they would say, with injuries to
Right.
other parties.
Right.
And we might get there and both parties are gone, we can't confirm it, but that information was still put out, can still be received and rebroadcast.
Yeah, I'd like to further investigate it because I know it does alarm community members, and the fact that a news service is putting that out there and not following it up at all seems like they're not really providing news if they're just regurgitating something that's on some other feed and then not following up with any details. It's upsetting to me.
You don't know it's a news service. It could be somebody monitoring radios and stuff.
Okay, but it's on a news feed
Yeah,
that states a specific news organization. So it says it's a news organization story. So I can follow up with that news organization, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make people
It's on
aware
the
of that.
internet. It's got to be true, right?
It's a news organization, they should at least be vetting it, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
The incident did occur, I don't feel it was newsworthy at all.
right, yeah, that's my concern. Any other questions for Chief Campbell?
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, thank you. And so, Mr. Butler.
Thank you. There's two pieces of legislation in front of you. The first being resolution number 23-31. It was addressed earlier by Mr. Hirth regarding an agreement between the county and village for administering a grant. The agreement that is attached to the version of this that was in your packet states that the term will be extended through December of 23, December 31st. We're actually going to, on the record, modify that, and we actually have it in the resolution that it will be through March 31st, 2024. Although the agreement will have a new agreement that will be attached to this, and we entered into reflecting that date of March 31st, 2024. And as Mr. Hirth stated, this is for the raising of what's the address? I know it was owned by Mr. Roger Bean, but
It's the Bean property,
Bean property.
6520, and 6516 UB.
so I need a motion to, oh, and by the way, we're going to pass it as an emergency. We don't have enough members here this evening, so we're going to have to not a pass by emergency, but rather.
We have
We have 5.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. Never mind. Forget everything I just said. I forgot our new member. Yeah.
Playing a crucial role.
Well,
You are
you do.
tonight.
You do because you allow this to be passed.
Good thing you're here.
So, and by the way, resolutions typically, we don't deal with them as an emergency. However, they're effective 30 days after passage unless they're passed as an emergency. And therefore, that's why we'd like to do that with this one. So I do need a motion to read by title only.
Motion to read 2023-31 by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Resolution number 2023-31, a resolution authorizing the reinstatement and amendment of a community revitalization grant and joint agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, and the Village of Gulf Manor, Ohio, which administers a revitalization grant and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Sorry.
Second.
Any discussion, any questions? For the sake of our audience, I know it gets said very quickly here. You can always find a legislative memo on the Gulf Manor website that goes over what our legislation is talking about. It's an explanation from our legal counsel. Sometimes it's helpful to read that before a council meeting. Very helpful. All right, we ready for a roll call?
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Marks,
Yes.
Mr. Michelson,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next is
Motion to
ordinance.
pass as emergency.
Pardon?
Motion.
Do we need a separate motion for emergency?
They're
Or
not usually
No.
put it in the same
No.
motion.
No, because it's in the,
It's written in the
Yes.
title,
it's in resolution A, it's in the title.
in declaring an emergency.
Next is ordinance number 2023-14. This was addressed earlier by Mr. Pridenoff regarding amending the appropriations for the various reasons that he stated. I do need a motion to suspend the rules, calling for 3 readings.
Motion to suspend the rules.
does that come before the motion to read by title only?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
All right.
And then I need a motion to read by title only.
Motion to read by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2023-14, an ordinance to amend appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Gulf Manor for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023.
Any discussion, any questions? Not roll call? Is there a motion to pass?
Motion to pass.
Second.
23-14.
Any discussion, any questions? If not, roll call, please.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
It's the grant that we're getting for the next department.
Correct.
And you said also you have to go ahead and switch the way the accounts are being held, right?
Correct. So it'll be a negative balance on one and a positive balance on the other.
I'm gonna join the two in third.
If you know, we're not, I'm sorry, what's your question?
You're joining the two accounts, is that pulling?
We're not
back
joining
our
the
account?
two accounts. There are 2 separate accounts and money was put into one account inappropriately in 2021 and in 2022. And that money has to be withdrawn, so to speak, from that line, from that account in UAN and put it into another one. It stays in the same bank account. Most of that money is in the Star Fund or in the high interest account. This is just an accounting procedure that I cannot perform on my own. I have to have council's approval, so that's why
Which line is it moving?
this is from 2101 to 2011. So there are 2 different accounts. One is the permissive motor vehicle license tax, which is essentially every time you go to register your plates, Gulf Manor gets a portion of that money. It's like $25 or $50. I don't remember exactly what that number is. I'm not sure, but basically the state of Ohio gives us that money. So originally that was put into a specific line, specific fund inappropriately. The audit caught it back in the 1920 audit, and that was corrected in 21-22, establishing the correct accounts. The problem was that there was another fund coming. There was another amount of money coming from Hamilton County, which was specifically for roads, and it was mistakenly thought that that was the same licensing tax from the state. In fact, that was a separate vehicle tax from the county. So that had to be put into a different account. Again, very, very
Like, they literally are for the same purpose, and it makes no sense why we have to have two different funds for these things. But to satisfy audit requirements, in order for me to be able to get a final sign off from them, we have to show them a fund balance transfer of whatever it is, $32,000 from this road fund to this road fund. But it's all the same, it's the same money, and it can be used, it has the same restrictions. It just has to be tracked separately.
Well, I understand better now. For real.
No, you don't.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Marks,
Yes.
Mr. Michelson,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thus endeth my report.
All right. Executive committee did not meet this evening. The next time they will meet will be December 4th at 6:30 PM pending any business. Excuse me.
December 11th.
December 11th at 6 PM pending any business.
Actually, there are no committee meetings that evening, because there won't be committees assigned yet.
Oh. Committee meetings, that's even better. And the party.
Community engagement will meet November 28th at 9:30 AM. Is there a community engagement report this evening? No. Next meeting will be November 28th at 9:30 AM. Ms. Cheney, do you have an education report?
Just the district-wide LSDMC meeting with CPS is this Wednesday at 6 PM at the board office. And I'll be attending with the principal of Pleasant Ridge Montessori.
Thank you, Ms. Cheney. Finance Committee did not have their special meeting this evening. Do you have a report, Mr. Fisher?
So basically behind, with discussions with the administration, we are having a hard time to find ways to cut the budget. Besides only if we make big changes that might not be suitable for our village at this point. We did not come up with any major ideas that we were trying to come up with. So therefore, we put it on hold for now.
Okay.
And that's why we canceled the meeting today, because we just didn't have anything to present. Hopefully, if we do come up with any major ideas of where we could get more revenue or figure out where we could cut anything, we would definitely report to the council. But as of now, we are currently still working on it and don't have any breakthroughs.
Okay. For context, for those who are not knowing where this is coming from, so at our previous finance meeting, there was a discussion about the budget and the current state of it. And a request was made to the administration to have 3 ideas of approaches to addressing the budget issues that we had. And there would be a special meeting this evening to go over those. And those will be when is that?
Hopefully by the regular finance meeting, we'll be able to see if we could come with ideas. If not, we'll have to put it on the table for council to decide
Right.
if we are gonna tap into the reserve and how much.
Right. I was taken off guard about us not having any committee meetings in December, because my thought on it was that until the other members are sworn in, that because of the date of it and everything, the former council members are still active, and especially because the council meeting is after the committee meetings, that we would still be able to have committee meetings in the interest of the people.
Mr. Butler, you want to weigh in on that?
I'm sorry, again.
The question is about our ability to have committee meetings prior to the full council meeting in December, given that it's prior to the expiration of the term of the committee members, council members that are on those committees, and that council meeting is after those committee meetings. If that makes sense. So what's our ability? I'm wondering if we have the ability to have to have committee meetings right before the council meeting that we're going to be inaugurating our new
Yes.
council members.
You could do that.
Okay.
But then new committees are appointed at or soon thereafter that first meeting.
Correct.
But yes, until the new council's sworn in, the same committees can meet. It's not a problem.
Right. So we could continue to pursue that agenda for the next finance committee meeting
We have a finance committee as
On
well.
the 27th.
on the 27th.
On the
On the
27th.
27th, this-
We already
yeah,
have a finance
correct,
meeting scheduled.
correct.
Yeah.
I was taken off guard about it not having
We
two
don't
more
have
meetings.
executive anymore besides.
Right. So anyway, those interested in having items put on the agenda, certainly bring those to committee chair or to my attention. We can move forward with that. Any other questions concerning the finance committee report? Okay. Sorry, looking at my cheat sheet. And if that, is there other pending business anyone has?
I have a couple things.
All right.
Not lame duck or anything, it's just a couple things.
Sure.
First, I would like to ask if the mayor and administrator would put together a proclamation for honoring Jim Whitus in his service to Gulf.
Be happy to. Typically, the way that works is someone who's very familiar with the individual and their contributions, which I would nominate yourself, to submit that.
I think I read most everything in the council meeting in early October, but I can send the document to you guys.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the second thing, this is just a fun thing.
All right.
I was in the middle of this little town in Greece a couple of weeks ago, and I walked out of this. We went in for a little quick snack and something to drink. We came out, there was a guy standing in the driveway. It was very obvious he wasn't Greek, kind of like American kind of looking. I said hi to him. He said, hi. I said, where are you from? He goes, oh, I'm from the Cayman Islands. Oh, okay. He said, where are you from? I said, Cincinnati. He goes, oh, I grew up in Reading. I said, well, I'm from Gulf Manor. He said, oh, my grandparents, Norm and Edith, owned the Gulf Manor Village Flea Market.
Wow,
How about that?
that's crazy.
Gulf Manor's famous worldwide. That was stunning. That just out of nowhere, you meet somebody. So you had Norm and Edith Cummins, I think were their names. And they lived on Elbrook in Amberley. Huh? Is that, anyway, just a fun fact. You never know where Gulf Manor's going to be in the world. Thank you.
Any other comments, statements for the record? We have our next council meeting is November 27th. We'll have finance at 6 p.m., full council at 7 p.m., or immediately, or at 7 p.m. Then the next council meeting will be December 11th, full council at 7 p.m. is what we have on the agenda so far.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your service.
Mr. Butler, you do know you're required to